Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. It's August 17th, 2025, and our topic today is the agony and the ecstasy. And this is an unusual talk for us, but I just couldn't talk about anything else because in this past week I've attended two memorials of dear friends, one of my first ministers in this teaching in 1976 who recently passed away at the age of 86, I think.
Yeah.
And a dear friend, we went to a memorial service yesterday in Bradenton, Florida, which is near Sarasota. Um, and she was a best friend for 50 years. So, and then
On the way there.
yesterday morning, yeah, on the way there, we found out that one of our beloved practitioners, that they are a prayer practitioner, they assist anyone who wants prayer done for them, and they're very active. And she was a long time former minister herself, Sandy Marchman, or Sandra Marchman, who many of you know because she always attended until the last two Sundays. And she passed away. She made her transition Saturday morning, yesterday, of heart failure. And I'm also celebrating on Tuesday the third anniversary of my son's passing. So this week, as I've just been inundated with
Loss.
loss of loved ones, and that is the agony part. Because no matter how much you believe in a wonderful afterlife for these people, and I do, and I have lots of evidence for it, um, you're still sad at your loss because you will no longer have them that much in your life. I say that much because sometimes we do get messages from the afterlife. I certainly do from my son. And actually, Sandy even spoke with me this morning at breakfast.
What did she say?
I was mourning her loss and feeling sad, and she said, "Don't feel sad for me. I'm happy." so, so that doesn't surprise me because one of the things that Sandy experienced in the past few days when she was at home and then taken to hospice, she died of heart failure. And but she was in direct communication with three individuals who passed away a long time ago. One was her husband. The other was her first minister, Dr. Whiteman was his name, and he was the minister in um, her area, which was south of Palm Beach, and
So,
not her son, of one of her best friends and fellow new students in the science of mind. But mostly Dr. Whiteman. She was mostly speaking for with Dr. Mike Whiteman, and I know she was thrilled to be speaking with him again because he changed her life. This teaching and his teaching changed her life. She ended up working at the church as a secretary to learn all that she could, and so we don't know yet if there will be. I hope there will be a memorial service. I have to speak with her daughters, but that's a lot of loss for me, especially all in one week. My goodness,
mhm.
not everybody passed away this week, but the memorial services.
Right. It's hard. We've decided at the last memorial service we went to, we're just going to start making younger friends.
Yes.
This, because I don't know what's happening, but a lot of the people that we love and know are getting older, and that doesn't bode well. You know, I know that we don't do a lot, we don't teach a lot about an afterlife in our teaching. We teach a lot more about a now life and how now to be in the best possible place to create the best possible life. But Ernest Holmes did talk about an afterlife, and we also
He was
know,
our founder.
yeah, and we also know from a personal experience that there is an afterlife. And although, as Judith said, it doesn't make it easy to deal with a loss, it makes it easier to deal with it, knowing that that person's life and ongoing accomplishments they're still in process. And I think it's really, really important for us to think about our own lives being a process, not an event. and a process of unfoldment, and not necessarily all in this lifetime or even in the possibility of a past lifetime, but that we're all of those lives and we're all of those experiences still in process.
And I'm very fortunate in that I've been able to hear
Yeah.
loved ones speak to me after they go. Uh, Often it was a surprise. When my father passed in 1988, because we were just married less than a year. Uh, I was doing a walking meditation, and all of a sudden he came through and spoke with me. I was very distressed about his sudden departure. He died of a stroke because he had four children of a second with a second marriage who were all uh, one was in medical school, one was in dental school, and two were just starting college. And he thought he needed to work and pay for all of that at 67. And so was retired and then still had a full-time job, was working hard, but he was really working on his income tax that was the stressor. And he had a stroke. And suddenly the family was, oh my gosh, what will we do? Because all of his income stopped with his passing. He had chosen that kind of retirement because he thought that he would live a long time. We all did. And I was panicked because what were we going to do? What were they going to do with these expensive schools? And his wife could not work. She was from Argentina. She just had never worked. And so um, I was walking and worrying, and he came through to me and said, "First of all, honey, there's no pain here." And I thought, that's a strange thing to say. It was his voice. I recognized it. And I thought, that's strange. But, he had a massive stroke and he lingered for days, maybe a week. So I think that he probably was in pain. But that was nice to hear. And then he went into a long dialogue about how the family could take care of everything they needed to take care of. And of course, I got on the phone and spoke with my stepmother and my half brothers, and they were delighted that I had heard from him. But they said, "I wish you'd talk to me." But interestingly enough, and the son did not like the instructions of what he could do, but he actually did that, and his life turned out just fine. Everybody's did, and so that was my first experience with conversations from the other side. And then there was a long period of nothing like that happening. Uh, and this is the part that's the ecstasy. When you know that they are well, they are happy, they still exist in spirit, and they're giving guidance to those of us here who need it. That's the ecstasy part. You can be sad that they're no longer with you, but it's ecstasy to know that they are free and still themselves in spirit. And Course in Miracles says none of your creations ever die. And I think that must mean your bodily experiences.
Mhm.
But
In the Source Materials, he talks about the same thing. And he even suggested that we're living multiple lives in multiple dimensions all at the same time,
yes, yes, they do.
which is really
They do.
interesting. And I realize that this is off the beaten path of most spiritual teaching, but at the same time, it's a path that I think once followed really does help know and understand that we are, as I said before, an ongoingness, that we are a presence and that is a forever presence. And it's hard when you start thinking about what you've done in your life, and then one day it's over and you're gone. Period.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, and it is reassuring to me to think that we bring our experience and our knowledge and our wisdom with us to the next course, and so eventually we're going to sign up for a life after life 101, and we'll see what that looks like. But we'll come having graduated from the physical life that we're living now. And this, as you said, that is the ecstasy. It is the knowing. Not too long ago, Judith's son's dog died, and I swear for the first 3 nights,
That was agonizing.
yeah, for the first 3 nights, he slept next to me after his.
Oh,
He would, and I looked over, I opened my eyes to look over, and there wasn't room enough. But
He
he
was a
was,
pretty big, he
but,
was a doodle dog.
yeah,
He was a golden
but
doodle.
he was there. And I
Oh,
felt him, and I have since felt him. It's interesting because although I've had some experiences in connecting as you have with those that have departed, I haven't had that happen to the extent that it did with him. We were very close.
yeah.
He was,
We cared for him when
he,
they were
you know,
away.
he was my dog incognito. And but really,
And he used to like me, but after he got to know Bob, forget it. He would just head right to Bob.
yeah,
Yeah, he's a
it
special
helped that
dog
I gave him
person.
treats under the table, but
Oh, I didn't know
you
that.
got to coach him a little bit. It's like you get something from me you don't get from anybody else. But
See.
not many times, just a couple of times. But I think it's important for us to think about our contribution to the living process. That we're continually contributing. We're contributing to our own well-being. We're contributing to the process of all well-being of all lives and their well-being as well. You're not alone, and that is really, really important. I think it's also really important to know that it isn't just at that time of transition that we're supported, encouraged, and empowered by Spirit, that Spirit's with us all the time. And that we have guides, we have teachers, we have,
The Spirit's part of us.
yeah, yeah.
We can't be separated. We
That
can only be separated here, thinking that we're separate.
we've gotten so caught up in if we can't see it and hear it, it doesn't exist. And if that were true, we'd all be dead because we can't see or hear the air.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so,
I want to share a little bit
yeah.
about what Michael did. My son died of pancreatic cancer, and he was young. Oh, when he got it, he was about 52. And so he, in my opinion, went through 2.5 years of real hardship with treatment, operations, chemo, treatment. And I agonized that whole time because, my son's pain is my pain. I even got I even got breast cancer. So did his wife. We both got breast cancer about a year into his treatment. And fortunately, mine was and so was hers. Discovered early, treated, gone. Not a long treatment at all. So I didn't really want to talk about me, but I did want to talk about that. His treatment and his pain was my pain for so long, and I was waking up because I couldn't sleep a lot, wondering what the next treatment or episode would be. And so I would wake up and meditate about 4 in the morning. So I was meditating from 4 to 6 when Bob wakes up for a long time. And I think that probably primed me for
Mm.
hearing him because uh, the day he passed, the night he passed, I was having trouble going to sleep. It just, the finality of that was hard to take. And so I heard his voice. He said, "Mom, rest easy. I'm well. I'm happy. I'm free." And that's all I heard that night. But I was able to go to sleep. But I was still in that habit of waking up early and meditating. And so he talked to me daily for about a year, as long as I kept up that practice and that practice of meditating. And I did write down what he said. So it was important. And he had messages for his children and loved ones. And they would ask me questions and I would ask him and get messages. So I'm really clear that life goes on. And that's the ecstasy that, we still feel their loss. We're not happy they're not with us anymore, but we can be happy that they're happy, as I am for Sandy. And it will be a huge loss for our community because she was here every Sunday. She was a former minister too, and so she would speak when I was unable to, and Bob and I were unable to. She would do the Sunday talk. She was a great prayer practitioner, and she was just a real force for good in our community. Um, So we have to allow ourselves to feel our sadness for our loss and at the same time try to remember love is eternal. I have some beautiful quotes about love. Can I share them?
Yeah, sure.
Um, this is from Brene Brown,
Oh, I like her.
who is a PhD social worker and a writer of many books. This is from her book, The Gifts of Imperfection. She says, "Spirituality is recognizing and celebrating that we are all inextricably connected to each other by a power greater than all of us, and that our connection to that power and to one another is grounded in love and compassion. Thank you. Practicing spirituality brings a sense of perspective, meaning, and purpose to our lives. I love that she said practicing spirituality because it's not something that you get as a gift and have it forever. As I said with my meditation practice, you have to practice a spirituality. And with our teaching, there's lots to practice, because we believe that as you think and believe and expect, so goes most of the things in your life. I say most of the things because I can't control what my son's life does or whatnot. And I certainly can't control everything that happens in my life. But I do know that what I think about, what I desire, what I do spiritual mind treatment for manifests most of the time, largely. And that was a change in my life.
Well, when you talk about manifesting too, you're a lot of times we have a time frame on manifesting. We don't have the wisdom to realize that as we were driving yesterday to the other coast, we were driving the entire time, but we only got there in the last minute. And when we started the trip, you could say, I guess this isn't going to happen. And for hours afterwards, as we're driving and driving and driving, I guess you could say this isn't going to happen because I said it, I wanted, I declared it, I headed in that direction, and it's not here yet. And of course, it was there within about 3.5 hours we were there. But I think that time idea, when you set about to go someplace in your life or in your experience, we set a time frame on it, and we often have a point at which we say, "Well, I guess it's not going to happen," as opposed to maybe it's unfolding in a way different than you had expected, or maybe you're having to prepare for that to be available to you. I know I've made some decisions in my life to do something and jumped out and said yes, and the universe has said no. And then what I didn't hear the universe say was, you need to warm up to it. You need to get some experience first, and then you can go back and do it. So the declaration prepared me for the lessons I needed to learn for the thing that I said I wanted to have come true. And I think that's an important piece because we often want something before we're ready for it. And then when it doesn't happen, we think it's just these things don't work. I believe all treatment works and in that it heads us in the direction that we're ready for and equipped to manage at the time that we say we're ready and we want it.
I remember when I first became a staff minister, and this was way back before 1980. And because I started in 1975
We
with
had
this teaching.
we had TV back then and things
50
like
years
that.
ago.
Yeah.
Had 50 years ago. And I became a staff minister, and I wanted to speak like our minister there. I wanted to get up and just be able to say what I wanted and believed, maybe with a quote here and there, but without, planning the whole talk out and reading from an outline. And that's what I wanted more than anything. That's the kind of minister speaker I wanted to be. But guess what? I could not do that right away. When I first started, it was full-time ministry. I spent all day Saturday, all day uh, researching, finding quotes, writing it all down,
Preparing your talk.
preparing that talk. And it ruined Saturday for Bob, I think. But that was the only thing I could do. But eventually, guess what? I knew this teaching well enough that I could give a talk, mostly just talking with a few quotes and say what I wanted to say. So things can take time, as you say. A lot of things that we pray for and we do treatment for are still going to need the unfolding of time.
Now I realize at our age there are some things we've asked for that we may not have a lot more time for. Like,
Speak for yourself.
yeah, okay, yeah. So we did, both of us bought an extended warranty though, so we're good. It covers parts and maintenance.
So that is basically what we wanted to share with you today. that I know many of you experienced this as well because
Well, most of the
we
people
all
most of the people we're speaking to today are just a little past 40. And as you get older, this happens more and more often. And I think actually it happens more and more often for us, not only because we're older, but because we need to be thinking about our own process and our own contribution and what is it that is undone that we need to do. And I think for me, as some of the people that I have loved past, I realize are the things I've been putting on hold that I'll do later when I have time that I may not have later for that need to be done now. And I think of that as the things that you want to say to people that let them know that you care, the way in which you support and encourage people that you were going to do later when you had more time or when the vacation was over or whenever something else happened. This is the time right now to acknowledge the people in your life that you love, to acknowledge the people that are doing what you consider to be the things that you would like to see more of and you want to support. And so, literally, moment to moment is an opportunity for uplifting, encouraging, and empowering not only others, but the courage within you to speak to that. And as we do that, we ourselves are encouraged, uplifted, and empowered.
indeed. So we want to close with just a little sharing here. Let me see. Thank you. I want to share with you ways that you can support this ministry if you care to. Uh, there we go. This is the first page of our website. And when you go to that first page, you have buttons at the top. By the way, spiritual coaching is our word. If you want to get in touch with any practitioners, this is where you click,
Including us.
including us. Ways to donate is how you support the ministry if you'd like to. You click on that, and it shows you ways that you can do that easily. Oops, I've got to take one off. Easy Tithe. We've closed down our Easy Tithe. I've got to close that down. But other than that, there's PayPal and other ways you can give. So we like to say this affirmation. This came from Sandy, by the way. This is what her church always used, and I liked it, and so we use it. And I'd like you to say it with us. My investment today is made with the full realization that God is the source of my supply and returns it to me enriched and multiplied. Boy, and Sandy really knew this. She really knew this. She just always said, God's my supply, and so she owned buildings and rented them, and they were always needing repairing, and they sometimes would be a surprising amount of money. Not yet. And it was always a shock to her, but she would always say, God is my supply. I don't know where it's coming from, but it'll come. And it always did. She was an amazing manifester. So now we're going to stop our recording.